कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना. Sir, how does it matter? It's okay if someone is saying something regarding us. It's okay, sir. How does it matter? We will hear it from 1 year and pull it out from next year, sir, from the other year. So we should just ignore comments of any Tom, Dick, and Harry. Please don't have that notion in mind that Valley of CMA is going to devastate. No, we won't let that happen. हम लाए हैं तूफान से कश्ती निकाल के, इस देश को रखना मेरे बच्चों संभाल के. So, hello and welcome guys, and welcome to this vlog. And yes, in continuation of my earlier video, which is regarding the report which has been released by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, open for the public recommendations. In that particular report, there's a specific comment which has been made by FICCI. I will be addressing that comment in this particular video, and why is this comment so important. This is the issue that I'm going to deliberate upon in this particular video, and why we should respond to such a comment. Along with that is the negative comment. Of course, we all know about that. I'll also be referring to the positive comments which have been given by the other federations. Okay, because I just don't want to highlight the negative side of the report, but also the positive side. So we'll be discussing both of the comments in this particular video. If you have not seen the earlier video, I would recommend you to see the earlier video to get a background that there are some proposals to amend the cost accounting record rules and cost audit rules, and those amendments are being discussed in these videos. So please refer to my earlier video before you watch this particular video to get the context. Now, before I come on to the comment of FICCI, let me clarify one very important factor, guys. Many of you have come up to me and asked me, sir, what are the turnover limits which have been prescribed which have been proposed by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs? This is just a proposal, we all know that. Sir, are the limits these which are there in this table, which is on page number 141 of the report? The limits are for maintenance of cost records, it is 65 crores. Aggregate turnover 47 and 65 crores. Overall turnover limits 93 and 186 crores. Are these the limits? Answer is no. Guys, please do not get confused by these multiple limits. These are not the proposals of the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. No, these are not the proposals. 93 crores, 186 crores, 50 crores, 100 crores, 65 crores. None of them has been proposed by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Rather, there is only one limit which has been proposed by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, which is given in point number I, which is, in view of the above, the committee recommends to fix aggregate turnover limit of 75 crores for products and services covered under CCRA rules for cost records maintenance as well as for cost audit. So point to be noted over here, there are no two separate limits for cost records and cost audit. There is only one limit for cost records and cost audit, which is 75 crores. Many students are telling me that, sir, for cost records the limit is 65 crores. Absolutely no. Absolutely no. These are just the discussions which the institute has done as to how have they arrived at 75 crores. This is just a discussion, nothing more than that. So ignore these limits. These limits are absolutely irrelevant. 93 crore, 186 crore, 65 crores, absolutely irrelevant limit. The only limit which has been proposed by the ministry is 75 crores, and that is the matter of discussion for all of us. This is just a clarification which I want to give you, because many students are getting confused. They are approaching me, sir, you said that limit is 75 crores, but this particular report has got these limits too. 65 crores for cost records, 93, 186, 50, 100. Guys, these are just discussions, nothing else. These are not the proposals. There is no proposed multiple limits which are given by the ministry. Ministry has proposed only one limit, which is 75 crores for both cost records and cost audit. That's a clarification which I want to give to all of you. Now, let me come to the subject matter of this particular video, which is, sir, FICCI comments. Yes, we are hurt. We as an individual, we as a professional work really hard. We work day and night. A, to get the degree, the much coveted degree, which is CMA, and B, after getting degree, the burn actually continues, the hard work actually continues, and it escalates. So only those who are qualified can understand this comment of mine, that there is more effort to it. during studies there's less effort. After qualifying there's more effort. You can very well understand. You have to burn your midnight oil. You have to really work hard to sustain in a market as a CMA. When after working so hard you get to hear such comments from an apex body called FICCI, it hurts, right? So what are the comments which FICCI has made? What are the ramifications of them, and what clarifications will we want to give to FICCI to to understand our point? That is what this video is all about. Sir, tell us one thing, sir. कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना. Sir, how does it matter? It's okay if someone is saying something regarding us. It's okay, sir. How does it matter? We will hear it from 1 year and pull it out from next year, sir, from the other year. So we should just ignore comments of any Tom, Dick and Harry. Excuse me, FICCI is not any Tom, Dick and Harry. FICCI is one of the apex body which regulates the economics of the country in the manner that it represents the industry to the ministry. It has got power within the ministry. It is influential, and it has got a lot of industries connected to it. Many CFOs are connected to FICCI, and if FICCI says something to us, we just cannot ignore it. Why? What is FICCI, and why is its comment so important? I am on the website of FICCI, and let us read something about FICCI. Okay, FICCI established in 1927, largest and oldest apex business organization in India. Its history is closely interwoven with India's struggle for independence, its industrialization, emergence as one of the most rapidly growing global economies. A non-government, non-profit organization, FICCI is the voice of India's business and industry. Please note that FICCI is the voice for India's business and industry, which means that whatever industry feels, whatever businesses feels, FICCI is voice for them. And if this voice is coming from business and industry, it matters us. At least I am very sure that FICCI's comment will matter to me. I won't ignore FICCI's comments. From influencing policy to encouraging debate, engaging with policy makers and civil society, FICCI articulates the views and concerns of the industry. It serves its members from Indian private and public corporate sectors and multinational companies, drawing its strength from diverse regional chambers of commerce and industry across states, reaching out to over 250,000 companies. That is how big FICCI is. That is how influential FICCI is. FICCI provides a platform for networking, consensus building within, across sectors, and first port of call for Indian industry, policymakers, and international business community. So this is just to prove my point that FICCI is not any chamber of commerce or not any organization. It is the organization, one of the most important organizations, and its views, its comments matter to us. Now, let us read what are the comments of FICCI. Page number 63 of the report. Page number 63 of the report. Although there are many comments of FICCI at various pages of the report, but specifically I am referring to the most detailed one where a lot of things are being said. Page number 63. All right. Summation of FICCI. That is what we are looking at. Summation of FICCI. Page number 63 of the report. FICCI in its submission stated the following. So what did FICCI state? FICCI stated that cost audit was introduced at the time of independence to ensure transparency, price control check for certain key industrial sectors. Given the competitiveness in various sectors, excessive pricing is not possible. Companies maintain cost records voluntarily. So FICCI is asserting that. I don't know whether they have some data regarding this or not, but FICCI is asserting that companies maintain cost records voluntarily as they are required to continuously analyze cost and revenue data for managing cost in order to retain and enhance competitiveness in the face of competition from competing firms or computing substitutes. Mandatory cost audit should therefore not be applicable for the reporting of cost statements, as it will lead to competitive disadvantage in such industry, which means that if the secret data which is there in cost accounts, if they are revealed, then it will lead to a competitive disadvantage. Wherever there is no administered prices, so wherever there is no prices which are regulated prices, which means something like rationing system where prices are controlled, or drugs control order where essential medicines or essential drugs prices are being controlled, except for those places, cost audit is not required. That is, the cost audit should be waived off. That's the recommendation of FICCI. Regarding PLI, so there are certain incentive schemes, public incentive schemes. So incentive schemes are being referred to over here. Regarding PLI and other incentive schemes, it was stated that respective ministry seeks detailed independent certification from the statutory auditor on each of these parameters relevant for the purpose of claim for fiscal incentives or under production linked incentives. Additionally, there is detailed correspondence with ministry as well as verification of all documents, invoices, records, etc., along with the redressal of queries, which adequately ensures that claims being filed are genuine. So FICCI is of a view that since statutory auditors are auditing everything, so the concerns of the ministry that the company is not claiming excessive incentive takes care of. Statutory auditor is taking care of it. Okay, correct and complete on that grounds. Hence, FICCI do not recommend extending the requirement of cost audit to products manufactured under the PLI schemes. Statutory auditors already provide assurance on financial systems of the organization. Hence, valuation of inventory, segment margins and the other relevant information is already audited and available. The statutory auditors are also commenting on the maintenance of books of accounts. Adding on to additional requirement of mandatory cost audit would lead to duplication of efforts and increase in cost, which is contrary to the objective of improving ease of doing business, and hence such practice does not exist. Additionally, such practice does not exist in most developed markets either. So I am taking up the last point first. The last point is duplication of efforts. It is being asserted by the ministry that statutory auditors are doing everything. So there is no point in creating another audit which repeats the efforts of statutory auditor. Going by that logic, there are several other audits in the country, like tax audit, special tax audit, section 142(2)(a). There were provisions for GST audit as well, and there are various scrutinies which happens at various levels of ministry and government, various government forums, various government departments do some sort of checking. Okay, some sort of audit is happening at every level, be it tax audit, be it GST audit, be it special audit, which is 142(a), which is over and above tax audit. Income Tax Act has two provisions of audit: special audit as well as tax audit. Then there are GST audit. Then there are various scrutinies, right? If you are an industry, then Industrial Act, whatever industry acts are there, Factory Act, etc., they have their own scrutiny. If you have a PF trust, then trusts have separate audits. Cooperative society or any kind of those things have separate audit. So if we talk about companies only, then companies also do face multiple kinds of audit, following the principle which has been enumerated by the FICCI. What I feel is that if cost audit is being eliminated, all of these should be eliminated too. Again, it adds on to the claim of duplication of effort. This is also duplication of efforts, because statutory auditor already provides assurance on the financial system of the organization. Hence, evaluation of inventory, segment margins and other relevant information is already audited and available. So why tax audit? No requirement of tax audit. Why special audit? No requirement of special audit. Why GST audit? Erstwhile there was GST audit, now there are only scrutinies, but still, why GST audit? And why other plethora of audits which are there in the country? All other audits should be abolished. Why only cost audit? Why only cost audit? All other audits should be abolished. So my first and foremost point is that there is no duplication of effort in cost audit. Why? Because of these factors: cost accounting versus financial accounting, and scope of cost audit and statutory audit. Guys, since our intermediate level, we study the difference between cost accounting and financial accounting. Cost accounting is to create the costing structure of an organization and to ensure that the costs which are being disclosed, like material cost, overheads, selling and distribution overheads, factory overheads, royalty and technical know-how, direct overheads, indirect overheads, standard costing, all these are taken care of, because they are not being taken care of in financial books of accounts. Books of accounts are different for financial accounts and cost account. They're absolutely different. They might overlap at certain points, but their objective and their way of creation is absolutely different. So there is a very minimal overlap between financial accounting and cost accounting, and therefore there is no duplication of effort. The scope of statutory auditors and cost auditors are absolutely different. Similar to the difference in scope of tax auditor and statutory auditor, similar to the difference in scope of secretarial auditor and statutory. So scope is absolutely different. So there is no question of duplication of efforts over here. And hence, this argument of FICCI that there's duplication of efforts, according to me, it's not correct. And guys, please don't think that I'm trying to undermine or demean the stature, the respectable authority, the challenge, demean the image or tarnish the image of FICCI. I'm not trying to do that. Please, I respect FICCI to the fullest. I've been during my working days, during my job, I used to visit FICCI with white papers representing industry in various manner, in various ways, and FICCI has been the pioneer in reaching out to government with the issues which are being faced by the industry. I'm not demeaning the authority of FICCI. I'm not demeaning or tarnishing image of FICCI. But the comments which FICCI has made in this report, they require a deliberation. And I may be wrong. Please, if I'm wrong, and if you think that, sir, this point is incorrect, please write in the comment section. If my any point is incorrect, if my any thought is incorrect, maybe it's an emotional outburst. 10 years, why 10? 13, more than 13 years of teaching exclusively to CMA students. I'm attached to CMA. I breathe CMA. My blood has CMA in it. So exclusive CMA loyalty, that is what drives me to make this video. And maybe there's an emotional outburst, but no disrespect to honorable and the apex body, which is FICCI. So that is how I don't think that there is any overlap. I don't think there is any point that cost audit is a duplication of effort. I don't think that is the case. Okay, let's see what are the FICCI's comment. For FICCI's first comment is that due to competitiveness, excess pricing is not possible, because the environment is very competitive. No one can have an excess price. We agree with that. Usually, or in normal circumstance, or in majority of the cases, excess pricing is not there. But costing is not to reduce excess pricing. Please understand that. Cost accounting is not to reduce excess pricing. Yes, it might be one of the objectives of cost accounting, but there are plethora of objectives of cost accounting which are being fulfilled, like cost reduction, cost control, comparison of previous year and current year's cost, overheads, incurrence of overheads, absorption of fixed overheads to the products, absorption of overheads to the inventory, closing inventory. These are the various small issues, plethora of other issues which are being addressed by cost accounting. So cost accounting is not only on overpricing. We are not only targeting overpricing. We understand FICCI's comment that overpricing is not possible in today's environment. We agree, to an extent we agree, but still there are some industries, as I've mentioned in my earlier video also, there are some industries which are like monopoly or monopolistic industries, and which might engage into overpricing kind of a spree. And there might be cartels, there might be companies which come together and say that no, we'll sell this product expensive, super expensive. So there can be those situations, but yes, even if those situations are not there, cost accounting is not only targeting at excess pricing, it's much more than that. So this is no good reason to scrap out cost audit. Second, voluntary maintenance of cost records. So FICCI is of the view that most of the companies are voluntarily maintaining cost records. This can be true for financial records as well, because financial records are also need of the hour. So financial records are also voluntarily being made by the organization. This can be our assumption. But the point is, are the cost records which are being made, are they made correctly? Is the material expense which is being incorporated in the cost accounts, is that correct? Is the amount correct? Are the overheads absorption rates which are used while doing the cost records, are they correct? Our target is not to force companies to maintain cost records. Our target is to force them or to inspire them to make correct cost records and follow correct cost accounting principles. And that is exactly the target of the financial or the statutory auditors. Every company prepare its financial accounts, but they should be correct. They should be following the law of land, which are the accounting standards in case of financial accounts and cost accounting standards in case of cost accounts. So they should be correct. That's the endeavor. Then the third point of FICCI is competitive disadvantage. If the cost data of the company is published or is audited, then it will the companies will lose their competitive advantage. Guys, this point is very well taken care of by the ministry by saying that cost audit report is not a public report. It's not a public report. It is not publicly circulated. It is only given to the board of directors, and that is the exact reason why only board of directors appoint the cost auditors. And that is the reason why shareholders do not appoint the cost auditors, because if shareholders appoint the cost auditors, then cost auditors will have to give their report to the shareholders, and shareholders might circulate it. Shareholders are many. So cost auditors are appointed by board of directors. The reason is that the board of directors will be privy to the report, and only board of directors will be privy to cost audit report, no one else. It's very, very secret document. So secrecy is well kept off. Now, yes, there are propositions in the report that, even now cost auditors will also be appointed by the shareholders. Let's see to what extent that comes through. But the sole purpose of cost auditors being appointed by board of directors is to maintain secrecy. So competitive disadvantage will not happen for sure. It has not happened in past. Cost audit is there since ever. When has cost audit led to competitive disadvantage? Please tell me. If it was the scenario, then cost audit would have been scrapped much earlier, because no company can afford leaking of its secrets. No company can afford that. So this would have closed much back. So competitive disadvantage cannot be a very fair reason to discontinue cost audit now. And last is duplication of efforts. I've deliberated upon duplication of efforts. There's no duplication of efforts. Tax audit, special audit, GST audit, indirect audit, any other audit. All these audits have got their specific scopes, sphere, absolutely different arenas, which are absolutely different from each other, and they do not have any duplication of efforts or any overlap of efforts. So duplication of efforts is absolutely not there. First 2 points I've already given you my comments on financial accounting versus cost accounting and scope of cost audit versus statutory audit. This I've already discussed with. Now I would generally want to highlight over here 3 very special points, and there are numerous such points which I have not been able to list down here, but 3 that came to my mind. Relevance of cost audit under Income Tax Act. Guys, why would the Ministry of Taxation, CBDT, introduce relevance of cost auditors or cost accountants giving a certificate on inventory valuation? Because the ministry knew that the financial auditors can value closing stock based on their that standard accounting standard to NRV or cost, whichever is lower. They can do that, but the critical element of absorption of overheads on the closing stock, this critical element and many more such critical elements can be tackled only and only by a cost accountant. And that is the reason why cost audit is very relevant from an income tax perspective. Similarly, cost audit is very relevant from a GST perspective. I like to mention Rule 15, where certification is required by a cost auditor regarding those discounts, those discounts which are given, the certification is required. So Rule 15 and Rule 30, very important, Cost Accounting Standard 4, which has been created exclusively for preparing the cost of production, and it is targeted, and the earlier erstwhile cost accounting standard 4 were also targeted towards the earlier Sales Tax Act and GST Act. Section 30 says that if 27, 28, 29 section rules, sorry, these are rules. Rule 30 says that if rule 27, 28, 29 does not function while valuing your supply of goods, then you have to resort to rule 30, and rule 30 says 110% of cost of production. Where does that cost of production come from? It comes from CAS 4. And therefore, cost auditors have an essential element in GST world as well. Next is relevance of cost audit under ICOS, which is Indian Cost Accounting Services. Yes, cost audit is the key to that particular service, and cost audit as a function, as a field, as a a regime is really important for those accountants who are going to ICOS. And if they learn about cost audit, then of course they're going to perform well while they are doing their service, and this is the service to the nation. And guys, these points are not exhaustive. I might have missed many points, like SEBI has got cost auditors services which are there in SEBI. Then many other acts of the country has reference of cost auditors and cost accountants giving their services. So cost audit is not an option, it's a necessity. Unless and until we teach cost audit to CMA students, their entire performance might go for a toss. So cost audit and learning cost audit is a need. It's an essential thing according to me, and not an option that can be waived off. No. And even if you are a member in, you are a CMA and you are doing job, even then cost audit is important to you, because if you do not study cost audit, then you will not be able to perform your services well in your job, because you will be expected to write cost records. How will you write cost records if you're not aware about cost audit? And if cost audit is scrapped, you won't be able to do anything. So cost audit is not only relevant for cost accountants in practice, but also for cost accountants in service. So cost audit is definitely important. And with due respect, FICCI's comment with respect to cost audit, at least personally, I do not agree because of these points. Now, what are the next steps? Okay, we are not going to leave this particular discussion without coming to a sensible conclusion and without taking action. My request to all the chapters of CMA Institute, whether it's SIRC, whatever regional chapters are there, all four the main regional chapters and the small city-wise, state-wise regional chapters. My request to all the chapters, whether we have CMA in employment or we have CMA in practices, let us prepare a white paper to be submitted to FICCI, a representation which is submitted to FICCI with respect to all the important elements which cost audit entails. And in that white paper, let us mention some of the critical things which cost auditors have done and which has benefited industry a lot. Guys, remember what is FICCI? FICCI is an association for industry. So all the CFOs of the country, all the senior manager, finance managers, finance directors, all the financial top honchos of the country meet at FICCI. So we need to make FICCI understand what is the relevance of cost audit for the CFOs, for the industry. We need to make them understand this. And for this, we need some practical examples. So for all the CMAs in employment, we don't want name of the companies. You don't have to write name of the companies. For all the CMAs in employment, please call out three things. Issues which you faced while preparing cost records plus their resolution which benefited your company. So if you were in employment and you were making cost records for the company, then you might have faced some issues and you might have resolved using cost accounting standard or cost audit report rules. Please mention them along with resolution. No need to mention the company's name. No need to mention your designation or your role in the company. No need to mention any of that sort. Okay, let's keep it secret. Only the issue and the resolution, how it benefited the industry. That's the kind of compilation which we need to have. Then issues faced while getting cost audit done. So if you are in employment, then of course you would have faced the cost auditors and you might have got cost audit done for your company. Again, what are the issues faced? What are the resolution reached? Please make a note of those small issues. Do not describe a lot. Brief stanzas are required. Question answer, brief are required. Value addition provided to the industry at large. What value addition did you provide to the industry, to your company at large? That is the next point that you need to write. Similarly, CMA in practice. Whoever are the CMA in practice, practicing cost accountants, again, issues faced while preparing cost records for any company along with the resolution, issues faced while conducting cost audit along with the resolution, and all value addition that you gave to the industry at large, giving me specific instances. And guys, it will be really useful. You at your level, of course, prepare a white paper and present it to the ministry, and it's better that if you as an individual do not present this white paper, let regional offices, present this white paper to FICCI or representation to FICCI, and if at some central level we can make this representation, all the more good. Just for my knowledge, just for my value addition, just for my enhancement, please mark these issues to my email ID, which is Nikkhil 10B @rediff with double F rediffmail.com. Nikkhil 10B, Nikkhil 10B @rediffmail.com. Please mark these issues, this list of validation that you propose to the industry. Please mark this to my email ID as well. This will be an enhancement, your gift to me. This will be my enhancement. I would be really, benefited out of this exercise which you're doing. Of course, you represent at your level for sure, but give it to me as well if you are okay with it. If you can share it with me, I'll be more than happy. And both CMA in employment and CMA in practice, I request both of you to please mark your email to my email ID as well. Do not mark your email which you are sending to the FICCI. No, not that email. Separately, a Word document that, sir, we culled out these issues and resolutions and we are marking it. It will be really helpful to me. Now the question is, what should student do? CMA in practice should do this, CMA in employment should do this. What should students do? That's the big question. Students, please don't do anything. Just focus on your studies. Just focus on your examination. Please don't have that notion in mind that value of CMA is going to devastate. No, we won't let that happen. हम लाए हैं तूफान से कश्ती निकाल के, इस देश को रखना मेरे बच्चों संभाल के. So earlier also in 1956 Act, there was a provision that cost audit can be done by chartered accountants also. Okay, in 2013 Act, the institute has represented to the ministry, and this provision was scrapped off, deleted. So please have confidence in your CMA institute, the council, the regional chapters. They won't let anything wrong happen to you. So all the students, my request to all the students, please study. I'll make a separate video on the impact of this mayhem on students, etc. I'll make that. But for students, please do not be dazzled or be confused as to should we pursue CMA. Many students say, should we pursue CMA? Of course you should. In a day's time, nothing is going to change. Okay, of course you should. I'll be making a separate video on it, but as of now, students should not do anything about this. So this was my analysis of the comments of FICCI. Okay, unfortunately, these comments have not been very well received by me and many of my fellow CMAs, many of my fellow practicing cost accountants and cost accountants in service as well. And therefore, the concern that we have raised, these issues that we have raised, it is out of concern that such apex body should not have such feelings or such comments for us. Now, one thing that I want to highlight is over here is that let us read this paragraph. Paragraph 5.5, page number 57. Let us read this paragraph, okay? These are the comments of ministry. For 4 industry association, PhD CCI, Scope, CII and ASSOCHAM also made their detailed presentations before the committee on 8th December 2023. Now guys, I'm not coming on to comments of PGD, CCI, Scope, CI and ASSOCHAM. I'm not coming on to those comments because they are it will lead to elongation of this video, which is not necessary at this point in time, but I can in brief tell you they have really appreciated the role of cost audit in industry. They have really, detailed out the relevance of cost audit in the industry, and they have proposed that the scope of cost audit should be enhanced. And that is a very pleasant comments to read. All four of them have given very positive comments. Okay, next. However, FICCI informed the committee that their representatives would not be able to attend the meeting in person on account of prior commitments. Unfortunately, FICCI's representatives were not present for the representation when the representation happened on 8th December 2023, but would submit the comments in writing. Therefore, thereafter, all 5 industry associations, including FICCI, have made their written submissions, which are placed before committee for detailed deliberation. All written submission of industry associations are placed at Annexure 4. So, FICCI representatives did not have time to attend the meeting in person. Does that mean that they did not value CMA profession a lot? And is that the reason why such comments, such adverse comments of FICCI are there in this report? So I don't know, okay, I'm not arriving at any conclusion, but this paragraph caught my attention while I was reading this report, that FICCI representatives were not present because they were having prior commitments. So somewhere there's a concern, somewhere there's a disconnect, and I want to make an effort to reconnect the disconnect. That is the effort that I want to make, for sure. So representation is important in FICCI, and we need to really connect with FICCI back to make them understand and realize what is cost audit all about, because that is the future, that is the key, and it is really, really important. So yes, I think this video is elongated a little bit, but it deserved the kind of attention which we gave it to it. It deserved it. Okay. So yes, that's all for this particular video, guys. We'll be meeting in a subsequent video. I'll be creating more videos on this particular report. I'm still in the process of going through this report and absorbing it. It's a huge report, and whenever I come up with a new point, I'll definitely make a video and get face to face with you on that. On that positive note, and with the hope that yes, we are going to change some feelings of FICCI for us, with that hope and pray all the very best and happy studying.